It's yet another beautiful day in Lumiose City, and as you wake up, you feel more than well rested. It's the month after your coronation, after all. You awaken in your new apartment, a residence right on the North Boulevard that not only acts as your residence, but also your office as champion. Indeed, you have celebrated and now rested plenty, and now it's time to get to work. Just as you promised when taking over from Diantha, your job as the new champion of Kalos is to tackle the region's problems head on. Luckily, you've got just the group of people to do that with. Your main mentor, Professor Sycamore, lives right next door to you, in his lab as always. He's abandoned his original goal of researching Mega Evolution, now knowing that such a dangerous power should best be left in the natural world untouched, or perhaps in the occasional recreational Pokemon battle here and there. He's now pivoting his research to renewable energy, and was in contact with a certain someone from a company in a faraway land. But you'll hear more about that later on. Looker, thanks to your help after the highly successful Project Flare case, was granted a big promotion from the International Police. He now resides full-time in Kalos, taking up residence in the newly opened Kalos branch headquarters of the International Police, which is on the south side of the city. He affectionately refers to this office as the Looker Bureau, since, after all, he is the director of this highly successful office that hit the ground running when it came to cleaning up the loose ends with the Project Flare supporters. To ensure the region's security, Looker has worked tirelessly since Coronation Day, including the installation of a holocaster bulletin board right in your living room, a live feed that updates whenever Looker has a new mission that requires your assistance. You've got a whole backlog of tasks from him that piled up while you were enjoying your break, but sifting through those will have to wait, since you're off to visit some dear friends. It's Gala Night here on Route 7, where your dear friends Diantha and Serena are now running Kalos' revamped battle facility, the Battle Maison. It's been closed for dozens of years now, but Diantha, using her wealth accrued from her time as a movie star and champion, decided to be a force for good, buying the decrepit castle and fully refurbishing it. Serena, of course a talented trainer, was looking for ways to engage with battling and help the next generation, so her co-running this place was a natural fit. You can spend the evening rubbing elbows with the familiar elite of Kalos here, but it's also refreshing to see how many young trainers of all different backgrounds are students here. No longer is proper battling in Kalos only restricted to the rich and the wealthy. Your reign as champion has brought in a new age of equality. But before too long, it's time to get going, because you see some familiar faces who seem happy to reunite with you, but definitely have some tasks for you to accomplish before the region is really ready to celebrate. Looker explains that he needs you to return to Lumiose and accept an urgent mission. It seems like while AZ's sacrifice back at the power plant incident contained most of the weapon's radiation, some energy still managed to escape, and it's attracting strange, powerful Pokemon that no one seems to have ever seen. There have been sightings in 3 different places around the region, and it's up to you and your allies to solve these issues. You can do these 3 urgent quests plus 1 bonus one in any order that you would please, but you need to do all 4 of them to unlock the bulk of the recurring things that you can do in the postgame. So let's get started and pick our first quest. This one brings you, Serena, and Looker to the ruins of the power plant, where you stopped Lysander just weeks ago. Beneath the crater, teams of scientists and hazard crews have been leading expeditions to clean up excess radiation, but have been mysteriously disappearing without a trace. 1 week ago, hikers passing through the Badlands swore they saw a strange Pokemon watching them on the cliffside, sending in a tip to Looker's bureau. So it's up to the champion to navigate the ruins of Lysander's lab, navigating a whole new layout filled with hazards and puzzles, rescuing the lost scientists as you find them in various chambers. Along the way, you encounter some Project Flare members. Looker is ready to apprehend them, but you listen to them. They explain to you that they don't want any trouble. In fact, ever since their leader Lysander was lost, and all of the project's leadership was arrested, they've been trying to atone for what they did. They only had a small part in Project Flare, joining because they truly believed Lysander was trying to fix Kalos, unaware of his true plans. Now that he's gone, they want to continue to fix Kalos, but in the right way. After all, they've got nothing else to do. They're worried that society wouldn't forgive them for being a part of Project Flare. They offer to join you and lead you to the former weapon hangar. Looker is hesitant, but Serena, now knowing the value of a second chance, is willing to accept their help as long as they remain committed to helping the scientists and investigating what's going on with the ruins. When you reach the final chamber, where the weapon once stood, you encounter Volcanion. This must be the Pokemon that the hikers saw. You stand ready to battle, but this intelligent, legendary creature instead shows you a memory. From antiquity until about 50 years ago, this Pokemon stood proudly as the protector of this desert, able to summon rain, maintain hot springs, create fire for warmth, even create powerful oases from scratch, like the one upon which Lysander's old town stood and thrived. It was from a mutual respect that this town survived in the desert, with Volcanion providing these elements kindly to humans, so long as they respected nature. But of course, that was all lost when Lysander's town fell into conflict, and Volcanion further punished them by making the environment harsh, uninhabitable, so no human would ever cause harm to it again. Volcanion came here after sensing the decimation that Lysander caused, convinced that humans had gone too far once again. But as it sees your traveling party, it knows that perhaps you've come to fix things. If you can show it your worth through battle, it may have a change of heart. You catch Volcanion and add it to your team, and now that its rage has been quelled, it uses its powers to bless the landscape with an oasis once more, making Route 13 a lush utopia once again. Volcanion is ready to give humans a second chance here. It'll take time for the vegetation to grow, and a town takes a long time to develop, but you know just the people to help that out. You allow the Team Flare scientists to use their knowledge and willingness to fix Kalos here, and you continue through the postgame. You can come back and check on their progress in this developing town, where more people are slowly moving in, and shops, restaurants, all of that continue to open. If you find more Project Flare members along the way, you can recruit them, convincing them to move here and grow the town. In a way, you've brought back Lysander's home, bringing balance to Route 13 once again. Next up is a quest brought to your attention by Sycamore, where he tells you to meet him in Geosenge Town. There, you group up with him and a man called Stephen Stone, Sycamore's friend from the Devon Corporation and an expert in all things geology, like Mega Evolution. He's staying in Kalos for the time being and has been helping out Sycamore with several projects that you'll find about later on, and you're sure as heck gonna need his expertise with this particular mission. Sycamore explains that once again, the excess radiation has been deteriorating the walls of the Reflecting Cave, which are made out of a mythical gemstone, the same one that can be found on the Pokemon Carbink's body. In the deepest part of the cavern, there lies an area known as the Diamond Domain, a luminous cave filled with fairy aura, where once every decade or so, a Pokemon known as Diancie emerges, formed from a mutated and very powerful Carbink from the colony. These Pokemon serve as the queens of Carbink colonies, and are generally very wary of humans. Your friend and former champion Diantha is the only living Kalosian to ever go into the Diamond Domain and find their way out, hence why she sports a Diancie of her own on her team, since it was the former colony leader before a new one regenerated. Of course, this regeneration is only possible because of the Heart Diamond, a very rare gemstone that lies at the center of the domain, and it powers the aura and the life force of Carbink. It's from the Heart Diamond's properties that new Carbink are even born. Sycamore and Steven explain that it's time to venture into the Diamond Domain and make sure the Heart Diamond isn't deteriorating just like the cavern, because of the radiation. Because if it is, the entire Carbink species may go extinct. Accompanying you on your quest is Valerie, who wants to see the rarest fairy-type Pokemon in the world, and Grant, who wants to be a better gym leader for Western Kalos by confronting some of its problems, and of course is quite the gem aficionado himself as a fossil collector and rock-type gym leader. You venture into the Reflecting Cave, slowly feeling the energy warp just as it did when you ventured into the Winding Woods or the Terminus Cave several weeks ago, which is strange. After a long trek, you arrive at the Diamond Domain, but it's nothing like what you expected. It's dark, cold, and nearly empty, just some sad-looking carbink orbiting a nearby cocoon, which lies right above where the heart diamond should be. You were too late. It's gone. Of course, the purpose and the contents of this cocoon depend on the choice that you made all that time ago. During the Z story video, if you encountered Xerneas in the Winding Woods, you'd now stand beneath the cocoon of its counterpart Yveltal, who was summoned here because a species is on the verge of extinction, and Yveltal feeds off the energy of death. Conversely, if you once battled against Yveltal in the Terminus Cave, you would now be facing the cocoon of Xerneas, who was summoned due to these desperate Carbink's wills to survive, as Xerneas feeds off the energy of life. You open the cocoon, battling against whichever Pokemon makes sense for the path that you chose, catching it and adding it to your team, preventing it from disrupting the situation here in the Diamond Domain. The cocoon shattered, and emits a pulse of energy across the cavern and beyond. You all leave the cavern, and Valerie remarks that there's a meteor shower of sorts, glimmering pieces of gemstone gently raining down along the beachfront of western Kalos, with Carbink mysteriously flocking to these sites in large numbers. Now you need to track down 10 different fragments, battling against collectors who want to keep it for themselves or sell it. These can be in random spots anywhere from Ambert Town all the way up to Coumarin City. After finding a few, Steven does some research and finds the composition remarkably similar to the cocoon encasing of either Xerneas or Yveltal. The gems within the cocoon shattered and dispersed, attracting Carbink the same way the diamonds in their natural habitats do. Perhaps if you piece together all 10 fragments, it can be used as a synthetic replacement for the heart diamond, restoring balance to the Diamond Domain. That proves to be true, as you, Steven, and Grant return to the caves and rebuild the heart diamond, bringing light and life back to the Carbink species. As thanks, the current Diancie Queen offers to battle you and join your team. The remaining smaller fragments can later be found and collected as well, where you combine 50 shards to create Diancite, finally mega evolving your Diancie into its fullest potential. A great way to celebrate the way that you saved the Carbink species and the Reflecting Cave. Next up is a request from your old friends Wulfric and Ramos, the two oldest gym leaders who have officially reopened the Kalos Ranger program on Route 14. Thanks to newfound funding from Sycamore, Diantha, and Steven, it's a thriving center where trainers can use their skills to help rehabilitate wild Pokemon all across Kalos and be stewards for the environment. These two ask you to help them on the Ranger's first big mission, saving the Winding Woods near Wulfric's home of Snowbell City. Woodside picnickers have noticed a strange occurrence of Ditto, an artificial Pokemon swarming the woods as a very invasive species. Plus, there's a strange howling coming from the Unknown Cave, a small cavern on the outskirts of the woods. So you, Wulfric and Ramos, and their friend Olympia, wanting to help you out by using her psychic abilities to sense any danger in the woods, venture into the darkness. You battle through hordes of Ditto and navigate the woods. Halfway through, Olympia feels a sharp pain and senses a huge amount of negative energy coming from the unknown dungeon. She communes with one of the Ditto, as simple as their emotions are, and finds out they're merely cells themselves, remnants of a very powerful artificial Pokemon who's been surging with energy and shedding Dittos from itself in its wake. So you follow the Dittos to the dungeon, where you battle against Mewtwo. Why this Pokemon was brought to Kalos is anyone's guess. Perhaps it was bought by Project Flare long ago, as a subject of experimentation, and is now roaming free, angry. You catch and pacify this poor creature, adding it to your team and relieving it of its pain. Later, you and the Rangers can continue to clean up the woods by defeating these Ditto. After you defeat 25, Wulfric would reward you by giving you both a Mewtwo Knight X and Y, since his Rangers found both stones lying around near the cavern. With this problem solved as well, it's time to move on once again. Here you're invited by Karina to the Azoth Festival, a massive annual celebration hosted at the Parfume Palace, and celebrates all things from the era of AZ, such as the arcane arts, sciences, and technology, even ritual Mega Evolution combat, and tons of shops and markets hosted and visited by travelers from all corners of the Pokemon world, everywhere from Sinnoh to Paldea. It's almost like a massive Renaissance fair or a world exposition. Karina has come to engage in some Mega Evolution duels in the festival's center area. Alongside her, Viola has come to photograph and document this year's event, and Clement, as a big tech nerd, has come to enjoy centuries-old technology, including the showcase of the Mechanical Marvel, as the palace staff call it, a device gifted to a former king of this palace, once thought to be a living Pokemon that has been dormant for nearly 500 years. You see one vendor with a particular item that catches your eye, the prison bottle, an item from a faraway region. He tries to sell it to you, telling you this is a priceless artifact fitting for a champion to own. So he'll sell it to you for the small price of a few million Pokédollars. You figure he's just trying to rip you off. But as he rubs the bottle, a flash of light emerges, and a massive, freakish, genie-like Pokemon emerges, immediately terrorizing the festival as it's looking for a good fight. It summons rings of lights from its body, which seem to open portals to other dimensions, or something like that. Because minor legendary Pokemon that you've only heard of through tales come to life and challenge you. From this pool of legendary Pokemon, the Genie Beast would summon 3 random ones that you would have to defeat in quick succession along with your friends. After you do so, it's time to battle the beast itself, and it would transform into a much smaller form, revealing that it's just a mere trickster who needs close supervision to not get into more trouble. The vendor immediately forks over the prison bottle, wanting nothing to do with it anymore, not even for money. There's a flash of light from the center stage, and the Mechanical Marvel whirs to life, revealing itself to be Magearna, a friendly Pokemon who has awoken after witnessing an epic battle from a pure heart for the first time in centuries. The staff allows you to add Magearna to your team as well, and you promise to take very good care of it. Just like that, you've accomplished all of the major storylines of the postgame, catching a vast majority of legendary Pokemon, so now what you do is completely up to you. There are plenty of options. From Sycamore and Steven, you'd be able to access a map revealing Mega Pokemon, sites across the region where dozens of familiar and brand new Mega Pokemon would be awaiting a challenge, final remnants of the radiation that you would need to take care of. When you defeat these almost totem-like Pokemon, the route or the area would be safe, and you would find their respective Mega Stones to keep for yourself, right where you defeated them. From the Ranger office on Route 14, Wolfric and Ramos, now fully retired from the Coumarine Gym and leaving an opening, would assign you to track down more threats. Legendary roaming Pokemon, a total of 12 Pokemon from 4 different trios, including the 3 that you battled with Hoopa's Rampage. After you track down all of the Mega Pokemon, Steven would reward you by giving you a Hoenn starter of your choice, and their respective Mega Stone, alongside a chance to battle him. After that, he says his work in Kalos is done, and you should visit Lumiose City via the train, where he and Sycamore just completed a pretty cool project. Meanwhile, when you defeat or catch all 12 extra-dimensional legendaries, Ramos would thank you, and offer you a chance to find his replacement for the gym, perhaps by paying Serena and Diantha another visit, and scoping out any promising trainers over at the Battle Maison. It's at the Battle Maison that you encounter your old friends, and can challenge them as the Maison Brain of sorts. Very challenging rematches with their familiar teams. They also reveal to you that they've appointed 3 additional brains of the Maison, Trevor, Tierno, and Shauna. 3 very talented trainers about your age who have come to Kalos from Paldea, Galar, and Alola to learn from the best. You can defeat all 3 of them, and in return, Serena offers you a Froakie egg, telling you this Froakie has a lot of potential and has the ability, as a Greninja, to go into its Battle Bond ability form, a heightened state almost like Mega Evolution that Serena herself invented and mastered. Additionally, Diantha would recommend that you appoint one of these brains to serve as the new gym leader to replace Ramos, so choose one of them wisely. You could also choose which city their gym is going to be in, a choice between the brand new X-Flare member-led city on Route 13 that you helped establish, Geosenge Town, Ambrit Town, Camphreer Town, Dendemil Town, Aquacord Town, or Kuraway Town. You could have a management role as champion to make sure their transition to the gym leader role is smooth. choosing how much to invest to make sure their gym puzzles, gym trainers, and of course battle quality are all top notch. You'd be able to oversee their progress and advise them on team building, watching their simulated battles, and shooting for a perfect 50-50 differential, meaning you would want your new gym leader to win about half the time, to prove there is sufficient challenge and learning opportunity for Kalos gym goers, but also lose the other 50% of the time to make sure that these gym goers are progressing in a healthy manner through the system. You would get a return on your investment the closer that ratio is to perfect, so make sure to constantly maintain your gym. You can always tweak the gym's layout and your gym leader's teams to make it super fun. There are 3 remaining things to do. The first being returning to Lumiose City to finally take a crack at looker-specific street-level quests on your board. It's going to be mainly stuff like tracking down rogue Team Flare members who are acting up at random spots around town, and of course the original Looker Bureau storyline from X and Y, with nothing being changed except of course for the fact that this version of Emma is using a replica of Diantha's Essentia costume, which has long been destroyed, this one being known as the expansion suit. Otherwise, nothing about this storyline would change. Over in Kalos City, you'd be able to see what Sycamore and Steven spent all that time building, the Kalos Safari Complex, sponsored by the Devon Corporation. This would be a massive indoor complex, far bigger than any one safari zone from Johto, Kanto, or even Sinnoh. It's a safe haven for wild Pokemon that have been imported to Kalos from faraway regions, or ones who are rare and endangered. It's a highly reactive facility that uses sustainable energy to change its layout depending on the weather, season, and even time of day. So come back often and virtually every experience will be different, with hugely diverse possible encounters. Besides all that, of course, you'd meet with Sycamore to be given Steven's final gift to Kalos, a cube device similar to the ones that you've already seen far long ago in your journey. This one can contain up to 100 Zygarde cells at one time safely. At your own leisure, you can safely collect Zygarde cells all across the region and amass the Pokemon in whatever form that you'd like. 20, 50, or even 100%. Steven attaches a note, wishing you the best of luck from champion to champion, and that he hopes that you'll visit him sometime in Hoenn very soon. In your care, Kalos is sure to be a safe region for years to come, and it's all because of the tireless work that you put in as champion. There are endless stories to tell here, but this is where this one, my version of Kalos, has come to a close. I want to sincerely thank all of you for supporting this series, which has been over a year in the making now from start to finish. You've shown so much love, and you've allowed me to bring the Kalos of my dreams, and hopefully one that fills some of what you might have wanted as well, to life. I'm officially closing the book on my Pokémon Z content, because now it's time to pivot to other long-form projects, like the continuation and finale of my Legends Avatar series, or more Fakemon theory and analysis videos. Always keep an eye out for long-form projects like this, because it's been a blast to make. I am far from done, whether that's a brand new Legends game concept, another hypothetical third version, or even something entirely unexpected. The Tam Valley Pokemon headcanons and universe will continue to be brought to life and expanded. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for more content.